everybody, it's your girl Talitha. My name is Talitha Jones, owner of the social media pages Talitha Jane. I live in Denver, Colorado, and my pages mainly focus around fashion, lifestyle. I'm going to show you guys my Telfar collection. I have the cream and the brown. I have azalea, bubblegum, and corned beef. I can personally attest to social media being faked because I have faked quite a few things. It's that time of year. We're entering NBA life season. I'm getting ready for a basketball game. I'm gonna walk in there like this is my show. Most of the time, I'm getting ready to go sit on my couch. I'm not going anywhere. Here's the wig, y'all. 40 inches. I have no idea why it took me so long to try blonde hair, but I can honestly say we are never going back. Your everyday person doesn't want to watch you do boring things. So in order to keep that content creation up, we have to stage it and just kind of sprinkle some extra flavor in there. Here's the lashes. I got like glitter. A lot of social media is staged, especially in this generation of looking perfect for the internet. We have a lot to prove, nothing to really show for it. So if your personality is shining through on any social media platform, I feel like it can be successful whether you're telling the truth or lying in every single video. If I love something, I buy it in every color because I feel like I deserve to be seen in it more than once. Delusion is a beautiful thing, let me tell you.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chonie B, and we are here today to talk about Miss Talitha Jane. Okay, so if you don't know, she's been going viral the last week on TikTok and YouTube because she was caught in a lie that she told the truth about. Y'all, I wanted to play that clip about her first because that is the person that I know as far as a social media content creator. I follow her and I've been following her for a few years now. Personally, I didn't even realize the controversy that was going on around her until I just kept seeing people post videos, and I'm like, she's so unproblematic. Like, what in the world could possibly be going on? So we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of what Talitha has going on and see how y'all feel about this. At the end of the video, I'll give my opinion. Of course, you know, I'll be in and out, but there was a girl on TikTok. I'm gonna make sure I put her name at the bottom of the screen so you guys can go follow her. She laid it all out for me. Okay, she laid it all out, and all I did was go find the videos that she were mentioning. So we gonna follow her roadmap to how we got here with Talitha. Now, I do want to say she has switched her content up a lot, which is probably the reason why I don't type in her name to search her anymore. Where she was mostly a fashion, hair, guru content type of thing, and she moved over to a little bit more Christian based. Also, I follow a lot more people now than I ever have, so she's kind of just got lost in the sauce of my algorithm. But baby, when I tell you she's been loud and proud these last few weeks, loud and proud, because this is honestly something that, like, it triggered probably about 2 weeks ago, and then last week she went all in and told us what was going on. So let's get into it.
Oh, I'm embarrassed, kinda, a little bit. It was a learning experience. You might have to watch this in 2x because I'm not skipping any details. I won't say I necessarily moved here for him, but I moved with the intention of having him for the sake of storytelling. We're gonna call him Aaron because I've been watching Love Island and it kind of just makes sense. I need the bowl and all the candy because this is a trauma dump at this point. Aaron and I met in college. So we met through a mutual friend, and then we kind of started developing our own relationship, which kind of makes it even harder because we were actually very good friends. And I realized I was catching feelings for this man, but he was always with somebody, right? And there's one thing I am not, it's a home wrecker. If you got a girlfriend, whether I like her or not, you have a girlfriend. I know my place, I'm gonna stay in it. When the time is right, you're gonna find your way home, it's okay. When he was single, I always picked up like flirty vibes, but then again, I'm not one to like make the first move. I like to be the approached and not the approacher. This man was in my phone talking crazy. I think it was like 2020 or 2021, something like that. He moved to Houston. Turns out they were in an on-again, off-again relationship. At this point, it was just off. I thought they were broken up. He ended up getting back with his ex. I got my feelings hurt. Whatever. I made a video on TikTok, explaining what happened, and he wanted to have a conversation. So I was in Houston at the time for like the little mentoring event that I had, and you know, I invited him over, we talked about it, we cleared the air. This is when like the Delulu really like light switch kicked on. He told me if I lived in Houston, we could explore a romantic relationship. I do know clearly from God that he was telling me that it was time for me to move out of my parents' house. Now, was he telling me to move to Houston? No. I just think it's so important that when you hear from God, you hear everything, because sometimes there's commas and we want to put a period where there's supposed to be a comma. I moved out here like the very end of August, beginning of September of 2023. Me and Aaron were operating as a couple and I was ecstatic. I loved it. We've been playing situationship for 2-3 years. So I'm like, now's our time to shine. Like, it's finally happening, you guys. I did it. We did it, Joe. We did not do it. Another red flag I should have known is I practiced abstinence, some form of abstinence, up until I moved to Houston. But when I was with that man, abstinence out the window. I said, what, huh? Not that Aaron wasn't respectful of my boundaries, but I was not respectful to myself because I allowed him to throw me off of my spiritual journey. And I had to realize that God is so much more important than a relationship. God is so much more important than a man who chose his ex over you twice, and then you moved out here and now you're throwing away your relationship with God to be with a man who isn't even your man. I was never his girlfriend. Stand up, Talitha, stand up. And let me tell you something, I stood on business. I said, look here, sir, you're great. I think I love you, but I love God a little bit more, and I want to be abstinent. I'm practicing abstinence till I'm married, and if that's not something you're on board with, we're gonna have to end this. We had conversations about marriage, about kids, about a future, and I moved out here with the expectation of a serious relationship. And I'm not faulting him, but I'm faulting myself for not being able to communicate what I want and then walk away sooner. Not everything you go through, God puts you through, but everything you go through, God will use it. I still pray for him. I still wish him the best. I hope that whoever he's with, if he's with somebody, that he treats her well and that they get married and that he gets the wife in the relationship and everything that he deserves. It just wasn't me. And that's okay. It happens. It's a part of life. This is just a story of growing up and making decisions that lead to growth, but it's fine because we're here now. Oh, cute. Cute little face beat. Face God never declined, my God.
Alright, y'all. So you see how she explained this. She was very like happy and talking about her truth. Now, the sticky part shows up because she said she moved to Houston because she was told from God that she needed to move to Houston. When she announced this to her followers, she said nothing about a man. Okay, so that's why they eating her up. And unfortunately, baby girl has to learn to stop oversharing too much. And the reason I say that is because unfortunately her platform is built off of her oversharing her business. We know a lot of stuff about her. We also don't know a lot of stuff about her. The things that we do know and the things that she has said over the years can be tracked. And that's what our sis in this next video did, baby. When I tell you she got the receipts for all the stuff that Talitha is saying, she got the receipts for everything. Now, in that original video of her sitting at the mirror, if she just would have said, you know, at some point in time, like, hey guys, you know, I just didn't want to tell my romantic life, you know, but that was one of the reasons that I also moved to Houston. And although God told me it was time to move, because like she said, we be putting a period where it's supposed to be a comma. He ain't tell her to move to Houston, okay? He told her to get out her mama house, but he ain't tell her where to go. So she went to that man, okay? But let's follow the timeline, okay? Because the timeline is funny.
Is it safe space? I'm ready to unpack Talitha Jane. Not gonna lie. Are we really surprised she moved to Houston for a man? I'm not the type to see one video and now I have to form an opinion on it. No, I do my deep dive in my research and I'm here to bring y'all all the facts. All the commentary right now is a little split. She's either male-centered or give her grace. I'ma let y'all decide. So I'm gonna tell y'all that I saw her video a few days ago and I did not watch it, y'all. I knew I needed to come back for it because something about her just gives, she is a lot to unpack. So I then started seeing people's reactions and I'm like, okay, it's been a few days and today I decided to start rolling out and watching the videos. So before I watched the current video, the first video I actually saw was a video back in March of 2023. It starts off with a flashback of her crying in her car in 2022. She lets us know she names the guy Kevin. She knew him since 2019. They went to college together. And that video pretty much just ends with her saying that I'm setting clear boundaries. So
I got like a very like heartbreaking text message.
Why are situationship breakups so much harder than relationship breakups? Like, I don't get it. Let's talk about why I was crying in the hotel room. To give you some context, I used to talk to this person named Kevin for the sake of storytelling. I went to
So remember all these names that she's going to say, because what people are upset about also is the fact that she's been talking about the same man for a number of years, and in her story times she likes to change his name so we don't know who it is, and she has every right to do so. That's her personal business. Unfortunately, she keeps saying that she's setting boundaries that she's honestly not setting, and that's why people are pissed.
same college. We had a mutual friend. We developed a romantic, platonic, intimate, emotional relationship. What does that look like? Doing all the relationship things, but not putting a title on it. Like, we're still friends. He ended up getting back with his ex-girlfriend, didn't tell me. I found out through Twitter, and my little feelings were hurt. If you don't want to claim it, don't act like it's yours. And that's the problem. So that was the first time. I was not mad at him. It was an issue where neither of us communicated what we wanted, so it was my fault just as much as it was his. Fast forward maybe like 8 to 10 months later, he apologized, I apologized. We kind of talked about where our feelings were. The friendship outweighed the romantic connection. I did still want to keep him in my life. Like, he was a very valuable person to me. We spent the weekend together in Houston, and it was probably one of the best weekends I've ever had because I got to see what it would be like if we were together. When I came home, my jaw was sore because that's how much I was smiling. Just the entire weekend, just blissful, just happy. This is where it goes downhill. I get a text message. Essentially, it says, me and my ex want to try to work things out. What did it for me was he said, you don't know our relationship, and I want to respect the boundary that she set. Excuse me. Through your actions, you told me that you didn't respect me, that you literally verbatim said you don't deserve me. And what did I do? I tried again. Something I learned this year is don't lose yourself proving how hard you can love somebody. Men have selective eyesight, okay? They're gonna pay attention to what they want to, and they're gonna disregard everything else. Sucks that you can invest so much into someone and they still won't see it. Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to cry. I see it as a blessing in disguise, but it's like, if you didn't want me, you could have just said that. Like, don't egg me on knowing you're somewhere else. To top everything off, definitely got blocked on Instagram. What Rihanna say? Stay up off my Instagram, pure temptation. So if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. I just try to remind myself that God has something so much better for me, and if it didn't work, there's a reason for it. I don't have to know it, because if God has his hands in it, then let it go. Let it go. If there's one lesson I learned the hard way, it's actions speak louder than words, and if he wanted to, he will. It's cliche, but it's so true.
The next video I come across was in June of 2023, right? So this video pretty much unpacks how she finds out that he has a girlfriend via Twitter, but somehow she still ends up giving him the time of day of talking it out. They come to terms that they were not being intentional with their dating. She ends up coming to Houston for a weekend just to kind of test out to see what the relationship would be like, right? But when she gets back home, he lets her know that he's going to pretty much choose the ex-girlfriend over her.
Situationship breakups are no joke, because it's like, how are you supposed to be sad over someone you were never really with? Why am I sad over a man that wasn't even mine? Yeah, be sad. Although it wasn't an actual relationship, that does not negate the feelings, the experiences, the connection you had with that person. I think situationship breakups are far worse than relationship breakups. As a society, we're conditioned to not be upset about it. That is a brow, ladies and gentlemen. My sister told me that you can grieve people who aren't deceased. You can grieve situations, you can grieve people, you can grieve habits. Just because something died doesn't mean it died physically. I don't know why this man had me in such a chokehold. He had me in a headlock. That's what it was. I thought it was like a hug. No, he was suffocating me. You should never settle for someone's potential. Lack of urgency is unattractive. Lack of commitment is unattractive. If you ever have to question about how someone feels about you, you have your answer. So where am I right now? We are in our healing phase. Besides get out, advice to anyone in a situationship is feel it. Don't act like you're not sad because they weren't yours. Don't try to play yourself like you don't feel some type of way, because you do. And that's okay. Go to a rage room. That helps. Trying to do your makeup without crying is really hard. That being said, we're sticking to the NBA wife fantasy. Not even fantasy, because it's going to be a reality one day. What we're not doing is settling anymore. Suck, curls, eat every time. I learned 2 very valuable lessons. 1, sometimes God takes you out of situations because you won't remove yourself. And 2nd, God takes things away from you to bless you with something better.
At that point, she's blocked on Instagram, right? So here I am, that video ends, I go and watch the current video. She pretty much explains all of that, but she thinks she's slick and she tries to trip us up. Why did she change his name to Aaron as if she has not been telling us the story about this man for years? So of course this video trips us all up, because you said that you would move to Houston for your spiritual journey. Says, how did you end up moving to Houston for a man that kept choosing his ex over you? Y'all, she says that when the time is right, he'll come back home, like, but he was never your man. Y'all were never in a relationship. You never got past the situational stage. So from here, I gotta get the timeline. So she moves to Houston in September of 2023.
It's official. I'm buying a house in Houston. We started the hunt off with one of my favorite buildings. I mean, they're all my favorite, but this one just has a special place in my heart. This unit is $525,000.
Okay, y'all, so this is also another reason why people were dragging her on TikTok, was because she made a video saying that she was going to buy a house. And in the process of this video, you see her walking through condos. Okay, condos are apartments that you can buy, period, right? Everybody's upset. They're like, oh, she's in an apartment, it's not a house. Now she comes back, and in the midst of her being emotionally wrecked, she says, oh, I'm trying to move. Something about her refrigerator was broken after a storm in Houston, and that if they didn't fix the refrigerator, she wasn't going to pay her rent. The fact that she used the word rent instead of mortgage was the reason why everybody's like, oh, she's been lying all this time. Like, she lies. Also factored in with that Dr. Phil clip that we seen at the beginning. Now you have something that is putting people against you, because oversharing is too much. Like, that's how a lot of people end up going down. They say one too many words that they should have never said.
I know she's a little pricey, but it's a high-rise condo. All of them are super luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows, corner units. And can we talk about the closet in the bathroom? Y'all know the content is gonna go crazy in here. I am looking at 2-bedroom homes to turn one into my closet room and then have my actual bedroom. Until we get the Talitha Jane estate with 5 bedrooms, upstairs, downstairs, closet, this will do. I mean, it's only my first home, so you gotta start somewhere. I can't be mad at it. She's a little...
I come across a video in November of 2023, and this is where she pisses me off. Cause sis, why did you now change his name to Steven when he's been Kevin to us? In your most recent video, he was Aaron. And you say that Steven, oh, y'all used to date way back when, some old stuff. He ends up inviting you out. You end up out with his ex-girlfriend, who sets you up in the car, letting you know that she knows that you've been dating him outside of back and forth of them dating, and you really sat there and tried to act like you didn't know that he's been choosing back and forth between y'all this entire freaking time.
I could have been beaten up, jumped, or even like unalive just because these 2 girls were jealous of me.
It is something about content creators flipping narratives in the way of, oh my god, they are this, oh my god. First of all, you've known about this girl for a long time, and obviously she knows about you. Once again, they're super young. She has been the one that's being chosen, and honestly, she ain't even the one being chosen for real, because he's going between the both of y'all. He's not going to end up with either one of y'all, unfortunately. But at this point, it's coming on here and really acting like, oh my god, I did nothing wrong. Not having the self-respect to walk away makes you have to be torn away, and that's just something to take. But baby girl, like, you were just as wrong for going with him, showing up with him, knowing that he's still dealing with her after all these years, because you didn't have the respect for yourself. Also, you're sitting here lying to your following, and you keep changing his name. Like she stated, all these story times that she's talking about men is about him. it's about him. Really think about this. She's only 24. When she first started making these videos, the dude that she keeps wanting to mention is, oh, we met a long time ago. We met a long time ago. How many people you met a long time ago? Your long time is not that long because, baby girl, you're still young.
Story time. One of like my, not exes, but somebody I used to talk to, we'll call him Steven. Steven was in Houston and he was like, hey, I'm going out tonight. I have a section. You should come through. I don't have any like trustworthy girlfriends out here and I don't want to go alone because, you know, the girls got to stick together. I'm like, worst case scenario, I know him. I'll hang out with him. And if I feel uncomfortable, I can just leave, right? So I show up to the first place and two girls recognize me from the internet. We're gonna call them Caitlin and Diana. I don't think I'm famous by any means necessary, but I definitely get recognized when I go places. Caitlin and Diana are like talking to me, making sure I'm not left out, and like the vibes are good. So we decide we're gonna go to another spot after this place. And Caitlin and Diana are like, Talitha, just come with us, like just ride with us, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, it's an Uber, it's like $5, it's cool, I got it. We're having fun, kicking it, whatever. And then we go to a third spot. And again, they're like, Talitha, just ride with us. Like, it's okay, we don't mind. And I'm like, fine, whatever. They're in the front seat, I'm in the back seat. And as soon as we get in the car, she locks the doors. I do the same thing, just for like safety reasons. But girl, lock the doors, right? Caitlin is throwing mad shade at me, talking about, oh, I have a real job. I don't just post on social media for fun. Whoa. She would say small things like that to demean me or make me look bad in front of other people. Caitlin goes, Steven told me about you. And I'm like, okay, what is there to know? Steven and I, we didn't date. We kind of talked, realized it wouldn't work, and ended things probably like 2 years ago. This is very old. She says, when you were seeing Steven, he was actually my boyfriend. And I'm like, whoa. First of all, that's crazy. I'm not a homewrecker, okay? Like, that's you. You got that. That's your man. Good for you, girl. It's just funny how he was flying me out to games and he was taking me on dates and he was still seeing you. Again, what does that have to do with me? You need to go press your man. In Texas, a lot of people carry guns, right? It's not uncommon. She is literally saying like, yeah, I usually carry a gun because I can't trust people. People are shady. Like, you never know who's trying to get at you and ruin your relationship. I'm like, first of all, she was throwing shade. She was mad at me. Her boyfriend cheated on her. And girl logic is take out the other woman. She's driving. She reaches over from the glove compartment. She looked at me in the mirror and rolled her eyes so hard. And literally, I called an Uber and just went home because she was... No, I did not feel safe there. This is not the first time I've seen women getting acts of hate on them by their friends or people they trust just because they're jealous. Like, the Bible literally speaks about it on multiple occasions, like Joseph and his 12 brothers or King Saul and David. Some people want to see you win until they see how winning looks on you. Just be safe. I love y'all, and you will not catch me outside anymore.
Kevin, Steven, Aaron, like, do you see how all of these relate? Like, the signs were there, the red flags were there, freaking his red flags were there because he really set you up. Why were you and the ex-girlfriend in the same space? I think Talitha takes Delulu to a whole nother level because you moved to Houston thinking you was gonna finally get that relationship of your dreams with that man who has not been choosing you. And it wasn't until February of this year when you finally realized that you're going to set the boundaries that you've been telling us that you've been setting for the last year. So the question at hand, are we really surprised she moved to Houston for a man? No, not at all. The signs were there. She's been talking about this same man for so many years, and she's been taking us along on this story. She's a preacher's daughter. And then every one of her solo date videos always results in some kind of conversation about a man. She's always crying about a man. Come on, Aaron, Steven. And we all know that most people that be on their spiritual journeys, it's always because that relationship and that man did not work out. Come on, let's clock it. What's tea? What she needs to realize is coming on social media with the spiritual journey God card is very much a slippery slope because you now have followers who follow you for this spiritual journey. And you wait a whole year later to tell us, oh, y'all remember when I said I moved to Houston because God told me to? Well, God told me to move out, but I decided on my own recognizance to move for that man. No, ma'am, you cannot do that. it's not going to transfer well. That's not going to sit well with people. Like, to be a person who feels as though like things don't happen by chance. God places at my feet. This is my purpose. This is for me. You can't come on here and say, God told you to go to Houston, and now all of a sudden, God didn't tell you to go to Houston. Now you don't really want to be in Houston anymore. And the only ounce that I'm willing to give her grace for is because she is young. She's what? I think she just turned 24. So what I've learned on this app is a lot of these girls is young and dumb. With time, maturity will come. They'll learn from their mistakes. I just need you to learn from it when you're telling us that you're learning from it, instead of continue going over it and over and over again. So all in all, overall, I don't think we are surprised, more disappointed, because sis, you lied to us. And that just doesn't make people sit well. You're known for being transparent. I need you to be honest.
That's really that on that. Like, when I tell you she read her for filth in a way of love, because baby, there's nothing worse than a young girl making a mistake that can ultimately mess her life up. Those are the situations that you're sitting here going back and forth with this dude, back and forth with this dude, and you know that he has somebody who he's going to choose over you, yet you might end up pregnant. You might end up even more heartbroken, or start putting stuff in your name to try to win his love. It's no telling when somebody has that much over you. And like, he had a lot of power over her, unfortunately, because he's literally out here making a fool of her. So this is supposed to be the guy. He claim he not that guy. He claim he not that N-word. Okay, y'all got it wrong. Stay out his DM, because it's not him. Yet he responded. One thing about it, you got somebody with over like 2 million followers. When you combine all her social media platforms together, going in on you, I would just not pay any of it attention and let it blow over. Even if I am the wrong person, I would just let it blow over, because it's not until he posted this video that now everybody has a face to go with it. One thing you gotta learn is the lie is always more entertaining. Nobody cares about the truth. So whether he was the person or not, I just would have took those couple of DMs over the fact that now everybody seen my face. Everybody knows who I am at this point, even if I'm not that person. Pull those T's. That's it. I ain't really got no more. If y'all want to see some more dope clips of content creators talking about Miss Jane, I was really loving in the fact of how I wanted to make this video, because like I said, I am a fan of hers. I think she dresses amazingly. I think she is so beautiful, so young, so talented, so creative. And this was just a mistake that she made on her journey. Like, we all make mistakes. Unfortunately, she's living in the world of technology, and she's a content creator that makes her life her content. That's what happens sometimes when, you know, we want to be in that arena. So yeah, we're gonna give baby girl some grace. I'm not gonna go in on her because she don't deserve it, for real. At the end of the day, she's young and dumb, and we all have to go through that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if you haven't gone through it, then buckle yourself up, because you're gonna go through it at some point in time. It's your girl Chonie B. Make sure you leave down in the comments how you would respond to what was going on. Like, would you stay with somebody who you have to keep going back and forth with? Have you been with somebody that you did the back and forth with thing? Or how do you give this type of advice to your daughter? Because that's what we need to be doing, is giving her advice to help her get over it and let her eat the meat and spit out the bones. Okay, I'll see y'all in my next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, if you made it this far, you need to be subscribed. Yeah.